I'm George Nager from Biker Pros. We're in Minneapolis at the IMS show. We're here with Scott with an outstanding bike that everybody wants to touch because it doesn't look like it's real paint. It looks like a tattoo. So Scott, tell us a little about this bike, and let's start a little about you, who built the bike, and what started you on this road?
Well, my name's Scott Maeyaert. I'm from Chanhassen, Minnesota. The bike was built for me by Deadline Customs, which is from Forest Lake, Minnesota. And you're right, the idea of the bike was to put a full body tattoo on a motorcycle. We spent about 6 months trying to figure out how to do it. We went through a half a dozen different paint colors to try and come up with something that we refer to as Brazilian tan. And then we started laying artwork down on it. I basically went through several hours, maybe several hundred hours online surfing tattoos, and kind of came up with the overall theme. And then Deadline and their paint people worked, with me to put down what you see right here.
Well, let's start. What did you start with? What bike?
It was originally a 2011 Road Glide.
So you obviously didn't start with a scrapper.
No, we started with something clean, and they did a full frame off paint job, so they pulled the motor out of it. The motor that's in it right now isn't even actually the original motor. It's a 120R motor that has been completely gone through. Jason from Fairbolt Harley Davidson did the motor, and I drag race another bike, so we needed to have a motor in here that was able to keep up with one of my drag racing bikes, so we actually put some nitrous on top of it too.
Looks like you're running D&D exhaust on it also.
Yes. D&D exhaust. The rest of the motor, like I said, it's a 120R, but we've sent the heads out to Baisley. We got wood cams in it. We've got several other upgrades in the motor. It's got a 64mm throttle body on it. We just dynoed it 2 weeks ago at 148 horsepower, so that was pretty close to what we wanted.
And that's to the back wheels, right?
To the back wheel. And we haven't sprayed the nitrous yet, so we got some more on top of that.
Well, let's start at the front of your bike, and let's talk about the wheel and tire and fender assembly. I'm assuming that that's far from stock.
It is. Like I said, Deadline Customs, who basically tore the whole bike apart, cut the frame, raked it, painted it, put it back together. I basically was just an idea guy, and they did all the work. But on the front, this is a 26-inch wheel. It's a Rampage wheel. It's got a Sinister fender on it. The front forks are HHI forks, and the rake, I can't even tell you exactly what the numbers are, but the rake and everything has been adjusted to compensate for this tire.
So they basically cut the neck and raked it for you then,
yep.
Right?
Yep. The windshield, which is actually, looks like it's part of the fairing because you can't see the bolts on it. That's actually one of Sinister's new windshields that he just came out with. This was actually the first one he sold.
Now, whose fairing is that?
It's a Harley fairing. We've modified the front of it to accept the Harley LED lights.
I know it's a see-through on the turn signals.
Yep. All of the idea to make it a full body tattoo, we didn't want to have any lights, license plates, bag latches, so we got rid of everything. And Bad Dad actually recessed all the lighting in the tail lights, blinkers, and in the fairing. We actually sent them our fairing, and they sent it back to us with recessed lights in it.
Let's talk about the handlebars.
Handlebars are a set of custom bars. BR Bars is the name of the place that made them. I actually sat on the bike, measured it, and came back with the numbers that I needed and sent it out to him, and he sent us a set of bars that actually came back perfect. So
let's go to the tank now. That's just any modifications to the tank?
Yeah, the tank is interesting in here because it's a Yaffe tank. There's an FBI 3-inch drop seat in here, and then the whole back of the bike is from Bad Dad. So you got 3 different people putting parts together. That's what kind of gives it the low look to it. And then Deadline fabricated these side panels.
Are those glass or metal?
They're glass side panels, and they were, you know, custom made to flow from the tank to the bags. And I know it was a lot of work for them, but I think they turned out really nice.
Is that because you got the bill?
No, I got a couple phone calls about how we might need to reconsider, but they stuck with it and got it done.
Let's, even though we talked a little about the motor, let's start with, let's go over that motor again, kind of highlight it. What motor is that again?
It's a 120R, so it's a Harley motor. You know, it's the motor they came out with a couple years ago. It's, you know, made to be a race motor. We basically tore it apart, and we got rid of the original heads and went with what's called hurricane heads. And then we sent the heads out to Baisley to have them worked on. We got a big lift cam in it. I think it's like a 268 lift cam from Woods in it. It's got different push rods. It's got roller rocker arms in it. It's got a different oil pump. Compressions up to 11.2, you know, so.
How's that do on the start?
Sounds like a NASCAR when you start it up. I'd love to start it up for you if you want me to.
They'd probably kick us all out of here. Yeah, those D&D pipes really have a nice sound to them.
Yeah. Now
when you're pushing some horsepower.
Yeah. When you start it up, it's a nice sound.
Who did the seat? You mentioned it was a drop seat. Was that just the seat pan, or did they do the leather also?
The seat is an old leather jacket that I got off of eBay, and it was made by a custom seat person here in town. Mark Milbrandt is his name. His company's name is In Stitches. And basically, once we had to assemble the bike, and he actually came out and fiberglassed a pan that is literally molded to the frame, and then made this seat. Took some highlights off the jacket, back cut it with the letters Ink in here. The name of the bike is Ink because it's a tattoo bike.
Scott, we're looking at the fairing right now. Let's talk about that, with the tattoos on that, and let's work down the tank, past the seat, and to the bags, okay?
Okay. You know, again, on the full body tattoo theme, the back of the bike would be the back of the person, and you know what we did here on the dash is this is a tribal spine tattoo, which is also on a girl on the back of the bag right here. But the idea is this area that comes in right here is the waist, and then this comes back out to the hips. And the front of the bike is set up so each front fork would be like a sleeve tattoo, and the fairing would be your shoulders and chest. It's kind of how the bike flows to, you know, simulate what a full tattoo would be like on a body.
Let's look at the bags. We're moving into the back here. You said that you had some lights on that. Is that the red part? Or what's your brake lights look like on that, or your running lights?
Yeah, all of the lighting being recessed. You know, Ink is the tail light, and the handles on these daggers are the turn signals. And that's in a flasher mode right now, but you know, once you're heading down the road, those dagger handles will just come on when you hit your turn signals.
And you're also street legal, so how do you display your license plate?
I have a voice-activated license plate.
I see. Can you talk to it?
License plate. It's a little finicky. It doesn't want to react to me right away, but eventually it gets the job done.
If somebody'd like to get a hold of you, maybe to invite you to another show or talk to you about your bike, how would they do that?
Well, I think they could get a hold of me through Deadline Customs. They could go to deadlinecustoms.com. Dana Hallberg is the owner of it. They could certainly talk to him and get my contact information through him if they wanted to talk to me.
Scott, thank you very much. I'm going to ask one more question on that before you go. This is your first bike show, isn't it?
It is.
Tell me, we've had probably at least in 2 days, at least 20,000 people come through here. What's been your impression of the Ultimate Builder here as far as showing off your bike?
Oh, I think it's done a great job. I mean, I've been here a day and a half, and there's been a crowd here the whole time that I've been here. Everyone just received the bike really well, and just the way the whole show lays out is a good opportunity for people to show off what they've done to a large group of people that are interested in looking at it.
To say nothing of the bike owner.
It's true.
Well, Scott, thank you very much for participating.
All right, thank you.